Hello and welcome to Interviews with Andrew. Today, we will be diving deeper into the question, why is car culture in Boerne, Texas such an integral part in the community as a whole? For this, I have decided to interview local car enthusiast and professional photographer Aiden Petty. In the interview you are about to see, Mr. Petty gives thorough and insightful answers to the question at hand. Please enjoy.
All right. Hello, Mr. Petty. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for giving me your time. And I have one question for you, or the inquiry question for today is, how does car culture in Boerne, Texas benefit the community? First, I'm going to start off with just tell me a little about yourself. Just tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so my name's Aiden. I currently live in Boerne. I'm a college student at Hallmark University, but I also am a photographer. I have my own photography business where I specialize in automotive photography. So here in Boerne, I've worked with multiple different shops, including a muscle car shop, a car detailing shop, as well as a few other random car shops here in the area. And I've also done shoots in Austin, Dallas, Houston, and areas around. I'm pretty involved in the car culture. I'm in a car group on Facebook where we actually do monthly meets and monthly drives. And I'm pretty involved, or I was involved when the meets were happening at local businesses here in Boerne.
Awesome. All right, my second question for you is, what is your history of involvement in the Boerne car community? Can you go in a little more detail on like what specific Boerne car meets you've been to, and just expand on that, please?
Yeah, so I started by going to the Cars and Coffee of San Antonio, actually, which is at Six Flags. So it's just south of Boerne. So I started going there, and I met a few different car owners who invited me out to the car shows in Boerne, and that's how I kind of like realized, oh, you've got the Soda Pops meet, which was very popular before Soda Pops actually closed down. They were hosting meets for years before I even found out about it, but I would say it's more of a 50s, 60s vibe. So I started going to those, and from there I started doing photos for some of the local car owners, and I met a auto detailer who I worked with for a while, as well as a gentleman who owns a muscle car shop that I started doing photos for. So, and then from there it was really just the car scene was expanding, and so we started having the German motor car show as well as the Italian motor car show in the Boerne Square, which I've gone to. I've taken photos at, I've shared photos with owners, things like that. And so I'd say pretty much every big meet that comes to Boerne, like the Soda Pops one, as well as those two car shows I just mentioned, I've gone to. And I know a lot of the owners. I know a lot of photographers out here. And so I'm pretty involved in the community here with the car culture.
Awesome. Okay, my third question is, how has car culture diversified the community over the years, both with cars and people?
Yeah, so I'd say it's diversified the community because there's a lot of enthusiasts out here. And so there's a lot of different car shops, car dealerships, things like that popping up. And so you can really see how the car culture has like spread, as well as you can kind of get the feel of who's involved and who's not here in Boerne as far as owners go. You'll see a lot of like classic cars rolling around, maybe like 60s, 70s, like 60s Mustangs, 60s Corvettes, things like that rolling around in Boerne. So yeah, it's a pretty diverse field as far as spreading now. There's a lot of younger teenagers, and there's a lot of younger folks that are getting into the car scene here in Boerne. So it's kind of spread to more of a, not say sports car, but a more modern muscle car scene, as well as some sports cars here and there. And then I'd say the supercar community out here in Boerne is also growing significantly with the the new building of the Ferrari dealership, as well as Mark Motors that sells used supercars here in Bernie. So it's definitely growing and becoming more and more diverse.
Perfect. Two more questions, and then we'll begin to wrap up. You mentioned soda pops and how they host car meets. How does them hosting car meets benefit local businesses on Main Street?
Yeah, so they would host Fridays. It was usually every other Friday during the on season, which wasn't like winter time. It was more like summer, spring. They would host car shows and car meets, I guess you could say, in the evening, where people could get a burger at Soda Pops, and then what people would do is park their cars in front of Soda Pops and the other businesses that were down this one road. And then you have Main Street right on the other side of Soda Pops. And so what people would do is they would walk down Main Street in the evening while the car show was going on, and they would get to look at other businesses in the area and go in. And that just brought a lot of people and a lot of attention onto Bernie and the shops that were there on Main Street. So you had a lot of foot traffic that was coming through from those shows. And I mean, honestly, what the show did was it brought people from San Antonio and New Braunfels to Bernie that didn't really know about it in the first place. And so whenever people would go to that car show, they'd realize, oh shoot, wow, there's this whole town that has the Main Street that you can walk down, and there's shops all around, great food, music, great vibes. All the people around here are nice. It's a smaller town north of San Antonio. So yeah, it definitely helped the businesses in Bernie. And with the COVID going on, unfortunately, Soda Pops closed. And so what's happening now is you'll see the new shops that are filling in the vacant spaces are actually trying to come together and figure out how they can start doing what Soda Pops was doing, which is the car shows, to try and help business.
Awesome. All right, last question. In your own words, please describe how the car community in Bernie is an integral part of Bernie community in general.
Yeah, so a lot of the older folks here, retired folks, a lot of them have very nice cars, at least one. People like that live in Cordillera, which is just north of Bernie, northeast-ish. And so you have a lot of these wealthier areas like the Dominion that's just south, with these owners of cars that all want to be able to bring out their cars and have a good time and hang out with like-minded people. And so that community is what has really grown in the past, I'd say, 5 years here in Bernie. You have a lot more people that are trying to get out, bring their cars out, and just have a good time. And so that's really what the car community does here in Bernie. Is just everyone just wants to have a good time. It's not about who has the best car, who has the most expensive car, things like that. It's just people that want to come together with like-minded individuals that like cars and appreciate the mechanics and the power and the driving characteristics and all the things that come along with the car community. It's just people that want to appreciate that with others that also have the same mindset. And so that really brings the community together at the car shows and meets that go on.
Awesome. All right, that's going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for your time. Much appreciated, and it was very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, no
Have a
problem,
good
Andrew.
day.